Hello guys and gals, me Weaselbatch is here, and today we're looking at another Mutahar apology. Last time we checked out a Mutahar apology video, he expressed his regret for laughing at hentai clips that included high school characters, but also, most importantly, for being friends with Nux Taku.
Now, while all three of us were present in this video, this is a section from me, right? Now, obviously, these videos, according to how this video is played, was uploaded on YouTube. But in this situation, he showed us a channel known as Henty Boy.
To summarize, Mutahar's last apology video was all over the place and way too long. So, we can only hope Mutahar improves his apologizing skills for when his next fuck-up comes about. Oh hey look, a Mutahar fuck up. And what do we have here? A shortened time frame. Well, okay Muta, I'm already seeing some improvements here. Maybe there's hope after all. So me Mutahar, what's got you apologizing today?
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and let's just talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. I made a mistake. I ended up buying that Nintendo Switch 2.
What?
Even though I said that I was going to hold off, I wasn't just going to go buy it outright. And there I was, going on a midnight release, and I ended up picking it, just on a walk-in.
Okay, so you're apologizing for buying a gaming console because you made a couple of videos claiming that you wouldn't buy said gaming console? The fuck? Now, I understand being annoyed by Mutahar's hypocrisy. After all, he's made several videos, all monetized, claiming that he will not buy the Switch 2, only to then fold immediately as soon as the console's released. However, while a lot of people are taking this very seriously, I can't help but laugh after hearing this shit. Don't get me wrong, the dunking on Muta is somewhat warranted, but at the end of the day, we have a grown-ass man apologizing for buying a fucking game console. That's hilarious, but what's even funnier is that despite the situation being somewhat trivial, Mutahar somehow still manages to fuck up his apology video. So let's not waste any time and see why people are laughing at some ordinary gamer.
I made a pretty big mistake. I actually made a video with the Switch 2 inside the actual frame. I actually had one on screen. I bought one. I used it to play Cyberpunk 2077 on it. Now, the reason why this was a pretty big mistake, and I do absolutely believe I should actually apologize to my audience, is I didn't practice what I preached, I said, you should vote with your wallet, and what did I do? I straight up charged my card and got the Switch 2.
So essentially, the only reason you made this video is because people pointed out through your comment section that they're pissed you didn't follow through on your word. Now, let's be real, if your subs were being positive or even just making lighthearted jokes about the situation, you would not have made this apology video. But as soon as you saw people calling you out,
oh man, I should upload an apology video real quick or I might lose my audience.
And ultimately, there's really no other way to, just apologize and say that I'll do better moving forward,
You could always return the Nintendo Switch. There seems to be an obvious answer to make up for your hypocrisy. Or you could keep it, and we can look at side-by-side videos of you telling us not to purchase the console while reviewing Nintendo Switch 2 games.
And to be fair, the biggest sigh of relief for me is to sit over here and apologize for purchasing a video game system, right? There's a lot of things that a YouTuber can do that would be very illegal, very wrong, ethically, not even just legally, that I could sit down here and apologize for. And that is the only thing that I've really thanked God today for not doing.
Wow. You're so right. You could be here apologizing for touching first graders, but thankfully it's just for being a hypocrite. What a kind and virtuous individual. I now forgive you for buying the Nintendo Switch 2.
Now, I do want to kind of defend myself a little bit and just kind of talk about this, because I don't want to just say that, I don't want to just say sorry. I do want to give an explanation. Obviously, that night I was coming home, bought a Switch, and one of the reasons I wanted to buy the Switch is to kind of look at that brick capability. I wanted to see if you can fire the system up, you can make a local account, you can connect without, utilizing any patches.
Can't you maybe find that out through Switch 2 reviews? Maybe research the product before buying it? Personally, I believe you bought this console to make videos from it and not for testing the brick compatibility, so I guess research before purchasing didn't matter in the first place.
I was hypocritical. I bought a device that, I actually shouldn't have. I contributed to, unfortunately, a bad practice in the gaming industry, right? Which was supporting this Nintendo system. I did want to cover it from a review perspective. I did want to cover it just from the preservationist perspective to see if a lot of those alarm bells that were ringing literally days before the system was actually launching were actually valid alarm bells.
Shouldn't you have known that before you purchased the console? You were clearly aware of Nintendo's greedy practices. And did you suddenly have an epiphany or revelation after buying the Switch 2? When you were first in line to purchase the greatest console to ever walk this planet, you gleefully pushed that 8-year-old out of the way so you could snag the last one in stock. After giving the GameStop employee $700, did you suddenly fall onto your knees and scream at the sky, "What have I done?" Dude, you knew what it meant to buy the console after all the critique videos you've made. There's no point trying to justify purchasing the console. Just admit you changed your mind because at the end of the day, you still wanted the console despite its price and TOS agreement.
Now, if you're somebody that, is, looking at me and, you don't want to watch my videos anymore because you don't like me anymore because of the Switch 2 stuff, then, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to wave bye. We're going to have to wave bye at each other. All I can really do is say I'm sorry. That's really all I can do.
If you were actually regretful for buying the console, you would return it, but the thing is, you're not sorry. You just don't care. And that's fine, but at least be honest, because what's annoying me the most is this lukewarm justification for buying the console just to save face. Your audience would respect you a lot more if you had just said you changed your mind. But instead, you go with, yeah, I'm sorry for failing to practice what I preached, I guess. But I'm gonna still do it. And if you think that's scummy, then you can suck my brown hairy nuts. There's the door.
As far as being hypocritical and bad for gaming, I can definitely see how I've contributed to that, and for that I just really humbly apologize. There's no if, and, or but around it. It is just a straight apology to anybody that felt slighted, hurt, or disappointed in this entire process.
Okay, if we're being real, if you were personally hurt by Mutahar buying a Switch 2 console, then you're a fucking loser. I hope that doesn't apply to anybody here, because that would be very sad.
I could be apologizing for, as a YouTuber, there's apology videos that I've watched through my career where people have done really terrible things, and ultimately, this might be one of the worst things that I've done.
Yeah, I know exactly what kind of response you want after saying some shit like that.
It's okay, Buddha. If this is the worst thing you've ever done, then you're still a good person. Don't beat yourself up too badly.
Thank you, comment section. I now feel validated.
So if you accept this apology, great. If you don't accept this apology, then it is what it is. But yeah,
What the fuck was that? Was that supposed to be your YouTuber apology sigh? Hell, why stop there? I'm sure there's a musical instrument you can jam to while singing about your regret. But before that, you must ask your dog, how on earth are you going to make this video? Jesus Christ, I don't know if I can watch this anymore.
Especially considering that a lot of games release with tons of great expansion packs that never end up showing up.
Oh, thank God. I've gone blind.
They don't